Hey, how you doing, everybody? My name is Jarrell, aka J Real, and I'm here reporting from Level One News. And I know this is a very late video. Usually, I try and get it to you early in the week. I'm very, very, very busy this week. I have a good friend of mine, special guest here. Good friend Kaveri came to stay with me for a week, and we've been watching the games. I didn't get to all of them, but I got through most of them. So I'm gonna give you a recap of what happened in a couple of these games. Plus, he's gonna give you what he thought about it because he was here watching with me. What we're first going to do is we're going to ask your thoughts, Mace, on how the games look compared to seeing people play 2K and what they're doing with it. What do you think about it as a person who watches esports and everything?
Well, it's very well put together, very well organized. Definitely not what I expected when you first presented it to me because I've heard about it, but I never actually sat down and watched. So my intake is only based off of just being in like fighting game community things like such as Street Fighter and mostly fighting games. So I've seen that and I've seen those kind of centered how those have been centered around. This was very well thought out, very well planned. The fan base was a lot larger than I thought. It is a very localized game since it is the NBA, so it's only best here in the United States. But other than that, it was very entertaining. I enjoyed the backgrounds of some of the actual players, why they came up with certain things, and the fact that you guys initially had a draft. Like the whole concept was very interesting to me.
And as a person, you don't play a lot of sports games. As you said, you're more into the fighting community, so I know you watch stuff like Evo, you watch the different fighting like tournaments such as Dragon Ball Fighter Z tournaments. I know you're very big in Street Fighter, and so you don't play these sports games, but you've seen them played. And so, like you said, watching this, like when you watched the gameplay, what did you think about the gameplay itself? Like, how did it look compared to when you've seen somebody play it? When you watch me even play.
Well, watching like someone like yourself or my friends play is a different thing. There's also a different mindset. It's not is anywhere near as competitive as what we saw. However, it's like the simulation with it felt like an actual game because I do watch sports. I may not play many sports games, but I do enjoy watching sports, especially basketball and football. I don't play too much of 2K because it was just something that I just kind of weaned out of because I was more into like the Avenger games, things like that, fighting games. So that was more my speed. However, watching those sit down and then like even though you don't hear some of the players sometimes and things like that, it felt like an actual game. So there were times where I was still entertained. Like if somebody's down behind and you go to like a 15-3 run and things like that. So it was still very very realistic there. It's a game, so it's not going to be perfect. Like there are some things that were done, that's not going to be the same thing as a regular sports game. And right now we're in the midst of the NBA finals, so it's definitely a hot topic. However, I did feel, that it felt very similar to me watching a game on like my platform somewhere at home, anything like that. It was entertaining.
Yes, I think it's great too. The one thing I was watching, I'm into the 2K very very heavily, so I go to the 2K communities, and I found out that their viewership has actually gone up. They've been ranging from around like it's dropped, but it has gone up in the past week.
Mm-hmm.
It's now at about 10,000, which is really good for the first year. And the reason that has happened is because they actually paid to be on the homepage of Twitch rather than somebody having to go find them.
Right.
So that's a good thing. So you get a bunch of newcomers from that. And I think they need to do that more often. And I feel like they did a really good job with this. And watching from the very first game to see the progression of how they do replays and how they show the score and what they talk about. And it's very cool to watch the people develop and the game develop. But I appreciate it. But now we have to get into what happened in the games. And the first game we're gonna have is we're gonna talk about the Heat and the Pacers, right? And so the Pacers go on this 8-0 run to begin the first quarter, and they go up by 10. The Pacers have 5 turnovers in the first quarter, and while the Heat were just scoring all over them in the paint, it was pretty ridiculous. It was kind of one of those things where even when you watch the X's and O's, it was all over the place. And because of that, the Heat just ended up just blowing them out the water and beating them 65-52. They beat them by 13 points. And
yeah, once the Heat pretty much picked up momentum, it didn't really stop.
Yeah, we watched that game. It was pretty crazy. The Warriors and the Celtics game was a great game because the Warriors are winless and they're looking for their first win. The Celtics are a really good team, so it was just 1 point like a difference in the first quarter. And the second quarter is where the Warriors just took over. They outscored them 22-41 in the second quarter. Like you can't really win like that. It's really really rough. The third quarter, the Warriors had to lead by 10. And the last minute, the Celtics brought it within 4, but it was mistakes made by the Celtics.
Yeah, that was the
and it was two turnovers that really really hurt them.
Was that the out of bounds?
I believe that was the out of bounds.
It was back to back. That was the crazy part.
There was a free throw that put him up by 6, and it couldn't do anything. That wasn't the back to back. The other one was back to back. But the Warriors finally get their first win, beating the Celtics 68-65. So that was a cool game. My team, the Mavericks, we went up against the Jazz Gaming, which was my game that I really wanted to watch. My Mavs, both teams were 3-1, and it's just how could you who's gonna win this one? And the Jazz started the game off hitting first 4 shots straight. Then the Mavs couldn't score. They came back. They got down to a point. The Mavs kept it rolling. It was up, by 8 points and a half. And Mavs, that's what the Mavs do. Once they get on the roll, they keep going. They came back to with a 1 point lead with 30 seconds left. I'm reading these notes. I'm taking notes. But they do ball like Seam. Not the number 1 overall pick Dimes that plays for the Mavs. The dude ball like Seam went off. He dropped 25 points in that game. Yep. And the Jazz, this was the game of the 2 turnovers. This was the game of the 2 turnovers. Near the end, the Jazz made 2 crucial out of bounds passes that sealed the game for them, and then the Mavs ended up winning by 3. It was a great game. It was one of those games that came down to the wire. Free throws here, some threes here. It was crazy. Then we had the Wizards Pistons, and this was just a blowout from the beginning.
Yeah.
The Wizards went in and just ran them over. They ended up winning by 25, 77-52. And there's not much to say. It's you can't win a game when the other team has everybody in double figures. It was the Wizards. There was nobody that scored under. I think it was 12 points. Nobody scored under.
It was 3 players that you had that had exactly 15 points, and then one person had 4. And then
that was another game. That was later on. You telling all the stats from later on, man?
Oh man, sorry.
This one, everybody on the team had at least 10 points in the game. I remember looking at that, and you can't. There's no way you can win if you let a team do that. Mm-hmm. The Kings and the Knicks was the back and forth game, where it seemed like no team could get the upper hand. The first quarter, the Knicks was leading by 6. The second quarter, the Kings were leading by 6. Then, the third quarter, it was the Knicks. They ended up having a 25-point quarter, but the fourth quarter, all these 3-second violations hurt the Knicks, and the Kings outscored them. The Kings outscored them and 21-10 in the fourth quarter. Ended up winning the game 71-60. And this was the game where the Kings had 4 people with at least 15 points. And once again, you can't win. You can't win like that. The next game we had was the Mavericks and the Grizzlies. And the Grizzlies took another L. They was on a 2-game win streak from last week, and they lost to the Magic. And the Magic is doing really well as of now. They came back and they've been doing some great things. And so the Magic won 73-68, a pretty close game. Throughout the whole game, it was pretty close. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. The rest of the games I really didn't watch, but I'm still going to give you the scores and let you know what I think happened. So the Knicks played the Raptors, and the Knicks won 73-56, and the Raptors are just a team that, were the team to beat them, for everybody to beat on. It's one of those, to put it in fighting terms for you, it's like a Dan character. They're like Dan from Street Fighter. I feel bad for them because they have a lot of talent. It's just they don't have a lot of wins. And, then the next game we had was the Kings versus the 76ers. And once again, the 76ers are the 76ers. They're one of the top teams in the league. They won 77-56. A lot of these teams have been losing by 20 some odd points. I mean, the Kings Gaming is a good team. It's just not. They can't really stack up to the 76ers as well as they should be. The Cavs Legion played the Bucks, and the Bucks won this game. And it's really weird because the Bucks playing against the Cavs Legion. Like, Cavs have a really solid team. I don't know who did play, who played or not, but for them to be losing to the Celtics, to me, is surprising.
Mm-hmm.
That is a shocker in itself. They lost 72-66. Then the last game we had of this week was the Blazers and the Raptors.
Close game.
It was a close game, 69-66. The Blazers win. And this time I feel like that's a good matchup. The Blazers aren't a great team, but they're not they're more of a low tier team. And since the Raptors are pretty much the bottom of the barrel, they're like, it seems like a really good game, and it just seemed, it's rough for the Raptors.
Right.
It's just one of those things. This week, and when this video comes up, it'll be later today. Is happening. Is actually the tournament, the mid-season tournament. The first mid-season tournament is happening today. They had the games lined up from 2:00 to what time is it going to end? 10. They have all the games lined up, and then I guess it's going to be a round robin type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go by the wins, and then they're going to play the next round of it the next week. I mean, the next day, on June 9th.
Right.
So we're going to see how this works out. But so far, we're going to have the Raptors playing the Pacers. I think that's going to be a really good game. I feel like in this one, the Raptors have a chance to win, but the Pacers are a good team still nonetheless, and I feel like the Pacers are going to beat them. The 76ers versus the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are just a tough team to have wins. So I feel like 76ers will take that.
Okay.
The Blazers are going to play a team to be announced. They don't even have it yet. I'm looking at the schedules right now. They don't have it yet. So we're going to see who they're going to play, but it's going to be rough for the Blazers, I feel like. The Mavs are playing the Bucks, and I feel like the Mavs are going to win, not only because I'm a Mavericks fan, but I just know the Bucks that they're not. I don't feel like they're up to par with the Mavericks. They might be able to give them a good run, but the Mavericks just have too many people that can do work. The Pistons and the Warriors, I'm going to take the Pistons in that one also because I know the Warriors are, they're a rough team. They're in a rough place. The Cavs and the Knicks.
I'm going Cavs.
You're going to go with the Cavs?
Yeah, because, only reason I'm saying that is because Knicks had a disappointing loss because where everything's being taking place is in New York, and the crowd was behind them, and it just didn't work. So I'm going with the Cavs.
You're going to go with the Cavs. I'm going to go with the Knicks because I can see their potential. It's just they have to hold it together in the fourth.
Yep.
And the Jazz and the Celtics is the next game, and I will absolutely go with the Jazz because the Jazz are just that good of a team. To me, the top three teams right now playing, I'd have to put the Wizards up there. I feel like the Jazz are up there and the 76ers are up there. My Mavs, I would put in there, but I don't. If I had to pick the top three, those are the ones that I'm scared of the most. The next game after that is the Wizards versus the Heat, and I'm going with the Wizards. I think the Wizards just have too many people to stop.
Mm-hmm.
The last game that they're gonna play tomorrow or today, as it is going to be the Kings versus the Magic. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go with the Kings on this one. The Kings, I feel like they're a good fourth quarter team. They definitely came together playing against the Knicks.
Right.
And, they were able to do something to actually make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of the games that we played on the ninth, I have no idea what they're going to be. Hopefully I'll watch them. I'll be able to critique them, and I'll try and make another video.
Cool.
Probably get it up. But that's this video. I'm sorry it was a little long. I want to thank my friend Kafer for actually being here.
Thank you for having me.
And it's no problem. It was great to watch these stuff with him. It was great to see somebody else get excited about it. That was my take about it. Was not, like I said, knowing you for these many of the years that I've known you for, to know when you're legitimately excited about something.
Mm-hmm.
So folks, I was watching the games and he was watching the games, and to see him be like, "Oh, look at this!" I knew that this was, a step in the right direction. Because once again, he's a sports fan, yes, he's not a big sports gaming fan. And so to know that he was excited about a sports game, like it was like, all right, this looks good, it plays well. He's telling me about stuff that I may have missed. So it's actually to me a very good thing, and it's cool that it's happening, and I appreciate it. And hopefully, I'll be part of it next year. If they do it again, they better do it again. I would love to be part of it. And this year I was not.
And a few others would be dope.
Yeah, couple of our friends play too. We'd love to be part of it. But once again, I want to thank everybody. I hope you watched this video. If you do, please like and subscribe to Level 1 News. We do videos like this. I do this video every week where I recap whatever's going on, tell you what's coming up. If I get any news about 2K, I'll come out and make a random video for it. And we do tech, gaming, we do all types of stuff. E3 is coming up. We're gonna see what happens with that. 2K supposedly supposed to have some demo for it, and we're not sure. So if I see something, I'll let you know. I'm gonna give you my E3 reactions too while watching all this. So do all this for you guys. So once again, just like and subscribe, please. Thank you, and I appreciate all you guys. My name is Jarrell, aka J Real, here for Level 1 News. Thank you.